intercom system located to the left of the door behind you, and you can use that to reach me. Just like that, folks, we have been transported over 7,000 miles to the wild plains of Asia. If you see those spotted deer right out in front of us, those are some of our access deer. Access deer are super cool because unlike most other deer species, they tend to keep their spots throughout the duration of their life rather than losing them once they are mature. If you look towards the middle, you'll see some large orange deer, and those are known as our Bactrian deer. Barasinga deer. The Barasinga get their names from the word in Hindi, which means 12 tine, as the males have about 12 to 14 points on each of their antlers. Now for you folks, I have a WCS conservation story, and I hope that you all enjoy. Hi.
Farmers in Indonesia live closely with wild animals, like elephants, which we will see shortly. WCS field staff work with local leaders and farmers in Indonesia to come up with the Crop Protection Unit. This unit created many different ways for farming to continue in close proximity of wild animals. One strategy was to soak ropes in chili powder and place them around the crops. Elephants do not like chili and leave the farms alone, allowing the farmer and the animals to share the habitat peacefully.
If you folks can spot right out in front of us, you'll see some large champagne-colored deer, and those are known as our Bactrian deer. Bactrian deer were thought to be extinct in the wild, however, were spotted again in Afghanistan after 40 years. We all know that a species that is extinct no longer exists, just like the dodo. This next animal was on the verge of extinction in the wild and was only able to be found in North American and Asian zoos. Out first today, we have the Mongolian wild horses, also known as the Przewalski horses. At this time, folks, they are at the top of the hill, and we will catch up to them in just a few moments. In the meantime, though, I have a story from Jonathan Slatt, one of the field researchers here at the WCS, working on the reintroduction of these animals back into the wild, and he is here to tell you more about that process.
Jonathan Slatt, I'm the Russia and Northeast Asia coordinator for the Wildlife Conservation Society. I believe that wildlife has a place on this earth. My job is to find practical solutions that allow people and wildlife to thrive together. Przewalski's horse went extinct in the wild in the 1960s. And on a recent trip to Kazakhstan, I thought about the ongoing and successful efforts in that country to bring these horses back to the Central Asian steppe. The world needs happy stories, to watch the impossible become possible, and to see hope restored. That's what's happening today with Przewalski's horse.
As you guys can spot, they are right up here on this hill. Here at the Bronx Zoo, we received our first Mongolian wild horses in 1902, and since then we've had over 50 foals born here. In our herd today, we actually have 3 foals. 2 of them are a bit older, about a year old at this time, and the third one, his name is Kyle, and he's only a month old. All 3 of our foals have the same father. He is our only mature breeding male in the herd, and his name is Otto. If you got a good look at our Mongolian wild horses, you might be able to tell some differences between them and the domestic horses that we know and love. Mongolian wild horses have shorter legs, a stockier build, an erect mane, and they are missing their forelock. That is the piece of hair that drapes over their forehead. Now once we get to the top of this hill here, folks, we'll be on the lookout for another herd of animals. Out for us today, we have the world's largest wild cattle, also known as the Gaur. Our Gaur like to hang out right here in the beginning of the meadow at earlier times of the day. However, they have migrated towards the middle, and you might be able to spot them right now, but we will get a better look in just a few moments. Like I said, folks, the Gaur are the world's largest wild cattle. The males can stand as tall as 6 feet, be as long as 10 feet, and they can weigh as much as 2,000 pounds, which is the equivalent to a small car. If you'd like to tell the difference between a male and a female Gaur, you could just take a look at their horns. A male's horns will stand upright, whereas the female's horns will round in and tilt a bit backwards. Here you spot a female with the largest horns and the biggest body. That is known as our matriarch. A A matriarch is a lead female. She runs the entirety of the herd, and her name is Trixie. Between their large size and impressive horns, the Gower have been known to fight off just about anything in the wild, including a tiger. But the biggest threat that the Gower face is actually over-farming of their natural areas, as well as diseases that they may catch from domestic cattle. And now for you folks, I have a message from Dave, one of the keepers here at Wild Asia, to tell you more about the repopulation of our herd.
Hi, I'm Dave, a wild animal keeper here in Wild Asia. When the Bronx Zoo received 2 female and 1 male Gower from the San Diego Zoo, it took a couple of introductions before all the animals were comfortable. But after a little bit of time, the animals fully integrated into the herd, and we have the family that you see today. A family group of Gower can consist of up to 40 individuals, and is typically led by an older adult female called a matriarch. Since the 2 females and 1 male have been added to this family, there have been a number of offspring. This is important because Gower are considered to be a vulnerable species, so it's vital to maintain a healthy growing herd here at the zoo.
At this time, folks, I ask that we all remain seated, as you would not like to fall into this next enclosure. We are now on the lookout for a tiger. And now for us today, we have our 10-year-old male Siberian or Amur tiger, and his name is Josie. Once again, guys, please all remain seated right now. It's just a lantern fly, guys. You can kill it. You'll be fine. It's up in the top right there. You can spot our 10-year-old male Siberian tiger, and his name is Josie. In the wild, tigers are solitary creatures, which means they like to live alone, and they can be highly territorial, which means why you only spot one at a time here at the zoo. A tiger's diet consists of wild pig and deer, and they've been known to gorge themselves on a meal up to the size of 40 pounds of meat in just one sitting. That's the equivalent to 160 hamburgers, and I don't know about you folks, but I cannot eat that many at just one time. Once again, guys, we all need to remain seated. We are now passing over the back half of the Gower meadow, and as you can see, they are up towards the top of this hill. At the end of the day, they like to migrate right down it and will stand against the fence line. Now, folks, we are entering the back half of that first meadow, in which we saw our access deer, our back-trained deer, and our Barasingha deer. If you look up towards the top, you'll see some small animals with honey brown coats and a white belly, and those are known as our black buck antelope. Black buck antelopes are sexually dimorphic, and all that means, folks, is that the males and the females look different from one another. If you look down at the floor right in front of you, you'll spot some of our peafowl. Here at the Bronx Zoo, peafowl have full range of the entire park. The males are the peacocks, the females are the peahens, and when they get together, they make pea chicks. Right now is their mating season, so you might be able to hear the males making their mating calls throughout the entire park. At the end of a mating season, a male will lose his brightly colored feathers, also known as plumage, but don't worry, folks, he will get them back again next year. This next animal blends in well with the muddy environment that it likes to call home. If you spot what looks like a pig with tusks erupting from its snout and curving backwards towards its eyes, you'll be on the lookout for a babirusa. In this first meadow, we have Kenneth, one of our older adult males. He is laying right back there by those rocks. And in this second meadow, folks, we have our 3 little piggies. There are 2 males and 1 female in here at the time, but it might be a bit hard to tell the difference between them, as the males just have not yet fully grown in. In the wild, a male babirusa will use its tusks to attract a female mate. And if you weren't able to get a good look at that last animal, do not worry, folks, you cannot miss this next one. Up first today.